What's up, everybody? This is Extravision. I'm here to show you how to make a little 8-bit synth. Actually, in my track, I layer it with other lead synths, so it's not quite like a full 8-bit track, but it has that 8-bit vibe. So this is what it sounds like. Okay, so I ended up making this sound after, a couple days ago I was looking for 8-bit synth tutorials on YouTube, and I couldn't find one that I liked because they were using an LFO on like the pitch and stuff, and I thought like for music you don't want to have some random LFO on the pitch and stuff like that. You don't want to have random notes playing. You want to be well, at least I want to be in control of the notes that I'm playing. So I kind of just pushed that idea to the side, and I said, I'm not making 8-bit. But then last night I was up until like 6 a.m. working on this track, and I was watching this video by deadmau5 and Steve Duda. Steve Duda is the creator of Serum, which is a synth that I do want to get eventually. But right now I'm using Massive. Anyway, in the witching hour, when you stay up real late, the delirium sets in and certain parts of your brain shut down and you stop second guessing yourself and you're a little more euphoric and you come up with some good ideas. That's how I came up with this melody and the 8-bit sound. But yeah, okay. So soloed, this is kind of what it's sounding like. Okay, so how to make that sound? First, I'm gonna just delete this Massive that I have on there and start a new one. New sound. So we start with a square and a sawtooth oscillator. That's what we're gonna be using. So just the square sounds like this. That's good. That was the first sound that I came up with. Well, first I came up with these just preset lead synths for the melody, but then I was like, let's go more 8-bit, and I just started with a square, and I was like, that's cool, but it's not 8-bit enough. So, go to the LFO, sync it. I probably do 16. We're gonna throw it. So we've got a square and a sawtooth, so we're going to throw it on the wavetable position. And then click and drag up like this to give it some movement. And then we'll have this sound. So what it's doing is it's the oscillator is making it go between a square and a sawtooth. Back and forth really fast. So you're getting that, that oscillator sound, that LFO sound without affecting the pitch. It's affecting the harmonics because the sawtooth has more harmonics than a square. But that's kind of the effect I'm going for. So turn on the other oscillator. I'm going to bring that down to -12 just to give it a little bit more bass. Throw the LFO onto that one as well. Click and drag it up. Give it some movement. And that's your 8-bit sound. That's the whole patch. That's how simple it is. I'm gonna reload the track just so it sounds exactly like how I had it. I'm not gonna save over it. And then this other sound that you heard, this one. Let's solo this group. Okay, so what I'm doing with that, we have massive. Let's see if I can make this sound from scratch. So, we've got a ping pong delay. We've got I just used a basic EQ for a string instrument from Ableton, just because I liked how it cut off the low and kind of had a nice curve to it. But yeah, it's got a reverb on it. So I'll turn off all that stuff. Turn off the arpeggiator. Sounds like this. Okay, so what we're doing with that, let's start a new massive. Just gonna solo that track. Oh, and this chord progression has some really interesting inversions and first inversions, second inversions. Kind of more of an interesting chord progression. But okay, so what we're doing with that sound, massive, new sound. Alright, so the new sound, if we turn off the arpeggiator, which I think it's off now. Sounds kind of ugly. I mean, it's a cool chord progression, but the sound is very ugly. So, I think I took a Polysaw 1. And then, to give it more depth, I turned on the other two oscillators with just normal saw waves. And these ones are pitched up 12. So the Polysaw is 1 octave lower than, lower than the normal saw, or the normal saws are 1 octave higher. And then what you do, okay, so it sounds like this. Kind of ugly. To give it kind of like a phaser effect, on the pitch, I'm gonna change the, I don't know what, there's semitones, which is 12 semitones up, but I don't remember what this one's called. It's like a tenth of a semitone. Just turn that up. Turn the second oscillator up about, 17, 18, 17. Turn the third oscillator down, so it's pitched down a little bit, like 18-ish. So it gives kind of a phaser effect. I took off the first oscillator because that's just there for bass with the arpeggiator. But so this is what it sounds like without the detuning. Now put the second oscillator up about 17, 18. You can go wider or shorter depending on the sound you want. But okay, so bringing that down, detuning it a little bit. So it gives it a little more depth. And I'm going to turn on the... It changed the wavetable position on the Polysaw. because I wasn't liking the sound. It sounded a little too dirty. For the arpeggiator, we'll just turn that on. I think we all know how to use an arpeggiator, but basically, if you're using chords, it'll throw random notes. Well, you can program it, but it throws random notes into that are in the chord, and then you can change the distance that it'll go. So I have it towards the end. I have it up 12 semitones. But at the beginning, I have it 0 steps. I guess it is at 12 semitones, but towards the end, when it goes up like that, it's down here. First it's down here, then towards the end it's up here. It's going up to 7 steps and 24 semitones down there. See that? But at the beginning, it's 0 steps and 12 semitones. I have the rate at 16. 1/16. No. I wouldn't bother with. I would just keep the transpose at shift. I didn't put it into scale, major or minor, and then because it's in the key of D, you could change it to go minor and then hit D, key of D. But I think if you're just using the chords that you're putting into the MIDI, you don't need to do that. You can just do shift. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So we're gonna play with the effects a little bit. Now, one really important thing here is we're gonna grab. It sounds good and all, but it's not really a pluck. It's just a synth. So we're gonna get a pluck sound to it. So down here, we're in the LFO. See, here's envelope. I'll put the decay up, tack down, level up. So go to the LFO over here. There's a lot of you can use the sine, the sawtooth, and the square and the triangle. But for a pluck, I like to use fall 1. See what it looks like here. So there's fall 2. There's a lot of different falls. So I'm using fall 1. So see the shape here. The top is going to give you all the harmonics, and then it goes down and brings the filter down. So I'm going to sync that to 16 because that's how fast my arpeggiator is going. So throw the LFO onto the filter, turn on the filter, low pass 4, click and drag so it gives it a little motion. Now, one important thing here is you're going to want to throw... let's hear what it sounds like. So I'm going to throw... There's filter 1 and filter 2 on this slider, so I'm going to throw them all to filter 1, because filter 2 is doing nothing. And if you don't put it up to filter 1, it'll let through too much sound. So now it's kind of a pluck. And then you can automate the filter cutoff. So, where was I going with this? There's something I wanted to say. What did I want to say? Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll just load up the track. Don't want to save that because I have it how I like it. Then we've got kind of this cool little track going. And then over here, I kind of do like it's not really like a key change. It's just kind of higher notes. And what happens later in the song is, well, at first I'm starting with an F, going up to G, hitting a D up here. But then later, I go with the B flat up to a C, and it's hitting an F. So, I'll kind of show that, basically what I do is I shift the melody up a few notes, the whole melody up equal notes, and then, with the little arpeggiator synth, that's hitting F and A. But then when I go up a few notes with the other thing, I go up a whole octave. So it's F3 and A3 instead of wait. Yeah, looks like I guess that whole part. Yeah, yeah, basically like here it's hitting F1. And here it's hitting F3. So yeah, I'll show you that little higher part. All right. So to review what we did here on this synth, we just got an LFO on the wavetable position of a square saw. And then on the arpeggiator, we've got an arpeggiator. We've got the this is the preset one that I'm layering on it. We've got the polysaw and then two normal saws that are pitched up an octave and then detuned a little bit with an LFO on the filter. We're using the fall 1 curve. So it on the beginning of, so it's every 16 notes it does this whole curve here. So it's when the note hits, it's releasing the whole cutoff. The cutoff is up, giving that all the harmonics, and then within that 16th note, it goes way down and cuts off the filter, puts the cutoff down to filter it to give it like a plucking sound. So that was an inside look at the track I made for my album. Maybe I'll do more of these. This is the second video like this that I've done. I'm working on an album. So far I have, how many songs do I have? I have Gaming Song, which is kind of not going to be on the album. That's available on SoundCloud right now. So we've got first track, second track, third track, and Maybe Song. This one's called Maybe Song, so it's actually the fourth track. So I have 4 tracks. Once I get up to 8, I'll probably start thinking about releasing the album. When I was growing up, albums would have about 12 tracks. Some would have 20, like the Cottonmouth Kings and stuff. Not going to go into that. I'd like to have about 8 to 12 tracks for my album. And if I feel like, if I come up with something cool and feel like sharing it with you, I'll probably make another video. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been fun. I had fun making this video. I had fun making the track. I love sharing it with people. I hope I can help you or maybe I hope I can, promote myself a little bit. Yeah. Have a nice day, everybody.